Hey guys, it's Jack Punkington here, and I've got good news. I found my camera. So tomorrow I'm gonna make that video about the Ibanez and maybe a few more, or at least one more that I have an idea for, and you'll see what it is about why tonight. So it was really cool to find that, and then I'm gonna answer one of the most important questions I think in guitar like purchasing and like what to look for, and one of the most important questions I get a lot, and that is what's the difference between buying an expensive guitar and buying a mid to low range guitar, and if I start out, where should I start out, and like, is it really worth it, and would it be better for me to buy a lower quality guitar and upgrade it than to buy a really expensive guitar? Sorry, my hair is a mess, but I really don't care. So, the reason why I'm making this video is because I picked up a new guitar today. I traded Gina. I know it was a cool Strat, but I have a lot of Strats, and I want something different. And that spare cabinet that I didn't really want for this. Hola! It's a Squire vintage modified um Mustang with Duncan design pickups, and I love this thing. I've always wanted a Mustang. As you guys know, Kurt Cobain is my favorite music songwriter. Maybe not my favorite guitar player, but my favorite songwriter and artist. And he played Jaguars and Mustangs and then Strats, and I always wanted a Mustang, so I got one. And yes, it's Squire. It's not Fender. But I traded a Harmony $80 guitar for it with some pickups in it that were okay. I prefer Seymour Duncan and Duncan Design over EMG and Select. That's my personal belief. That's my personal taste. I'm not saying that EMG is a bad company. I'm saying for my personal taste, I prefer Duncan. Cool? We cool? We cool? We're cool. Alright. So, now, is this an okay guitar? Is this a good guitar? What's its ups and downs and its bads and lows? Well, first, and I'm comparing it to this. This is my Fender American Highway 1 Strat. It's not the most expensive American Strat out there, but this is a genuine American-made Stratocaster. Yes, I said Stratocaster. It's mine. I can call it whatever I want. And I've done some modding and some upgrading, but I still have the original stuff with it. So except for the bridge, but so like what's kind of better, what's a good price range to start and stuff, and like my poster just fell, but it's still not in shot, so that's cool. And like why one might be better than the other. Well, first we'll look at the Squire. Now the Squire has a basswood body. It's a slab body, which means it's just a good chunk of wood. Bolt-on maple neck, rosewood fretboard, 2 Duncan Design single coil pickups, Mustang style tremolo, which are always really neat, 70s style headstock, which is actually my favorite style Fender headstock, and then OK tuners. These are actually this guitar actually stays in tune pretty good. This is the Olympic White series, Arctic Olympic White. It's that white that's kind of yellowed. It's my favorite color on guitars. The pickguard's like this Tortex shell color, but I'm actually getting a black one for it. I'm ordering one on Friday for this. So, this guitar runs for about $300 brand new. That's a fair amount for a guitar. It's not cheap, but it's not super expensive. But I feel that if you are starting out and you're serious about guitar, you don't want something that's crappy. You want something that's gonna make you want to play guitar. You want to go with the low-end Fenders and the high-end Squires if you like that style looking of guitar for like maybe a Les Paul style or an SG. High-end Epiphone, low-end Gibson. And the reason why I say that, and I'm talking used. Don't buy a new Gibson because their prices are all jacked up after last year. But buy used of anything. It's always a better deal. I mean, like I said, I traded for this. This guitar, the Fender, I paid $460, I think, with the hard shell case, and it's like $1,000 without the case brand new. So that shows you what kind of a deal. And it was in pristine condition when I got it. I've just had it for so long. So anyway, why might buying something like this be better than just buying this Fender? And why might buying a Fender be better? Well, part of it depends on your personal taste. If you like having the name Fender, you want the Fender, I can understand that. When I was a kid and I wanted my first Les Paul, I did not want an Epiphone. I wanted a Gibson, and I saved up till I got my Gibson. I still have it. And I can totally understand that. But this is made by Fender. It's just a Squire. And, a Squire gets a lot of, like, bad press about their guitars, that they're only for beginners. But I don't think so, I think you can get a nice Squire and just upgrade it. And it'll be maybe not just as good as a Fender, but it's close, This is made in Indonesia. These are actually really cool pickups. If I wanted, I could slap in some Fender Hot Rails. Replace the pickups with Grovers. I'm already going to change the pickguard. So, there is that. And then comparing it to this, a US made Fender American Strat. This is like the daddy of guitars. Where that had a basswood body, this has alder. Alder is more of a stronger wood. It's more expensive than basswood. This is a 3-ply sunburst, 3 or 4-ply, I think actually. So that always kind of raises the price anyway. I have modded the pickups and put in Stevie Ray Vaughan customs instead of the original Fenders. I still have them. And I've also replaced the bridge. The only modifications I've done up here was taking a lighter and just burning the headstock because I was stupid, but I still like it anyway. Favorite 70s style headstock. Now, yes, this is an amazing guitar. And for being the first, electric guitar that I really practice on and I put a lot of time into, I wouldn't have it any other way. But if instead of the crappy pink electric guitar my dad bought me, if he had bought me something like this, I wouldn't be heartbroken. I think this would be this is a great starter guitar. And if you have a couple extra $100-200, you can probably pick these up for like $150 new or $150 used. If you have $150 extra bucks and you want to try your hand on modding a guitar and making a custom looking guitar to like just you, it's a great idea. Whenever I go to guitar shops, and I always ask, what's a good guitar brand to buy a cheap guitar and just rip it to pieces and make it my own? Every time, I always hear Squire. Go for Squire. Because it's actually decent. Like, the wood isn't bad wood. It's actually pretty decent resonant wood. The electronics on this aren't horrible. They're actually decent. And the hardware is actually pretty good. Like I said, I do plan on changing the pickguard, and I eventually hope to plan on replacing the tuners. But this isn't horrible. For what I did, it's a pretty good deal. I'm really happy with it. And I will do a review of it, like I will do my review for my Ibanez tomorrow. I don't know if I'll upload them on the same day. But Now, is one better than the other? That's kind of hard. It all depends on your budget, you know. If you've only got a maximum of like $400, this is a great, awesome guitar. There's other guitars out there. Any Squire that's vintage modified or classic 70s, I think they're called, are all pretty good. Um, the lower end Fenders, like the black top, that's I think $400 max new. Those are pretty good. Those are the Mexican made Fenders. You can do pretty good for 400 bucks. If you were to go to Epiphone, Les Paul wise, you'd have to get a studio, and those aren't the best. If you're going Les Paul, you might as well just go an Epiphone custom used. You can probably get an Epiphone custom for about 400. Or you could get like a G4 or a G4 or an SG G400 Pro. And if you go to like Ibanez, there's tons of great guitars for that price. So it all depends on your personal taste. The sounds for Fender have always been more of a vintage sound. This is a classic surf rocking sound guitar, like you hear like Beach Boys or like funky style, like hoopy sounding guitars. But I like just putting a nice dirty tone with this and rocking out with a nice grunge tone or a nice punky tone, because you can get that out of here. A lot of people won't think so. You can play metal on this. Now, when we compare that to like a Fender, yeah, it's a more expensive guitar, but this guitar is gonna last you for a lifetime. I could probably have this till the day I die, and it'll last me till then. This guitar's got scratches, it's got scuffs, it's got paint missing all over it, but I've had this for probably about 7 or 8 years now, and this thing has lasted that so long, and it's lasted this abuse, and I'll never get rid of it. And it's a best friend. I think that's kind of a way to look at it. You buy a Fender that fits you, you're buying a best friend. You buying a Squire that fits you, you're buying a friend or an acquaintance. And what I mean by that is neither of these are bad guitars, but the Fender is more of a closer relationship guitar, where a Squire you can still move up. A Fender's kind of like you're there, you've made it. If you want to go higher, you can, but you don't have to. Squire's kind of like, okay. And that's not to say, this can be your best friend. This can be an amazing guitar. It just all depends on what you think personal taste is. But for the price, it is not a bad deal. Like I said, guys, I found my camera, so I'll do a review on this and my Ibanez probably tomorrow. I don't think I'll post them on the same day, but I will do them both. So, I'll see you guys later. This is Jack from Punkington, signing out. Peace!